Hello, welcome to a new video and welcome to Pride Month. It is June, it is Pride Month, and I thought I would give you some recommendations for books with Sapphic rep. I know a lot of people tend to just do queer X, which is amazing, but as a lesbian girly who is in a relationship with a bisexual girly, I thought let's make this more specific to me. And let's do some Sapphic recs. So I actually have more than I thought I did. There's a few that I don't have physical copies of. And I'm going to be honest, looking through to see if there was any others, I actually have so many other books that I haven't read yet that have Sapphic rep. Now, some of these books might have the tiniest amount of Sapphic rep, but it's still Sapphic rep, so it counts. So we're gonna get stuck in because there are a lot of recs here. I'm not reading out blurbs. I will try and give you basics, but if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know I am terrible at giving any sort of synopsis for a book, even if it's my favourite book in the world. So yeah. So first up, we actually have my favourite Casey Quiston to date, and that's One Last Stop. I say to date, I actually have only read two. I've read this and Red, White and Royal Blue. I still need to read I Kissed Shara Wheeler, which is also Sapphic. But this, I am very much on an unpopular opinion train of this is better than Red, White and Royal Blue. I love Red, White and Royal Blue, don't get me wrong, but this is better in my opinion. This also has like a bit of a, is it sci-fi twist? I would say sci-fi twist, because it literally says, Jane doesn't just look like an old school punk rocker, she's literally displaced in time from the 1970s. So, I love this. Next up is one that everyone talks about. It's The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This has major Sapphic rep. Yes, it's very chunky, but it also is fantasy and it has dragons. Dragons and lesbians, what more could you want? Next up is two books in a trilogy. I haven't read the third one yet. All three are Sapphic, but I obviously can only recommend the first two. It is Delilah Green Doesn't Care and Ashford Parker Doesn't Fail by Ashley Herring Blake. The third book is Iris Kelly Doesn't Date. I am very, very much looking forward to reading this. It's just a case of me and Ash want to buddy read it, and we've been doing other buddy reads as well and trying to fit in all the buddy reads of all the Sapphic books. So I really love these. They are just contemporary romances. These are not perfect, but the first book I think has amazing rep for not only a Sapphic relationship, but one half of the Sapphic relationship is a single mum, which we love, more representation of different types of families. And I just really, really love these books. I preferred Ashford Parker, but I know a lot of people do prefer Delilah Green. But yeah, like I said, I'm really excited to read Iris Kelly as well because I love this series so far. Next up, we have some Alexandria Bellefleur. So first up, we have Written in the Stars. This is the first book in the Written in the Stars series. This is the first book. The first and third book are Sapphic. I, however, do not recommend the third book, but that is very much a personal taste thing. I didn't like how the conflict in that book was handled. I thought it was done really badly. Whereas this book I absolutely adored. I loved the couple in this. And up until the conflict in book 3, I loved the couple. I hated how the conflict was handled. It was not done well. But then other people have really enjoyed it. So I personally only recommend the first 2 books, but the second book is not Sapphic. This is also kind of a Sapphic Pride and Prejudice retelling, very, very loosely. Very loosely. Like, to the point, it's literally just a case of she's a little bit grumpy like Darcy. That's it. So yeah. And then the other book is The Fiancé Fast. Now, I actually do need to replace this cover because this is the UK cover, and I've got the other 3 Alexandria Bellefleur books in the US cover. And the US cover for this book has women on the cover, not just this. Looking at this, you would not assume that this is Sapphic. And I want to know a book is Sapphic. But I really enjoyed this. It has like a marriage of convenience type situation / fake dating, and it is so Sapphic and it's great. Next up is The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. Now, one thing I will say about this, yes, it is Sapphic. Yes, there is a relationship. However, do not go into this book thinking it's romantasy, because that is the issue a lot of people have had with this. It was marketed as part of the Sapphic trifecta, which I don't recommend the other books in that trifecta, but they are Sapphic, so do with that information what you will. With The Jasmine Throne, it is very much a political fantasy with a side plot of romance. Like, it is so much a side plot. But it's there, so I'm recommending it because I'm obsessed with it so far. I need the third book now, and I've got to wait till the end of the year, which is not okay. Next, we have Malice by Heather Walter. This is a dark Sleeping Beauty Sapphic retelling. So it's basically the Aurora character falls in love with a dark fairy. It's not Maleficent. Don't think it's Maleficent. It's not. It's a dark fairy. And I really, really enjoyed it. And I need to read the sequel. It's another one on mine and Ash's list. Next up, I'm bringing you some Kaylin Bayron, because there's a few. So Cinderella is Dead is Sapphic. The main character is a lesbian, and she's in love with a woman. Yes. I will say, the word lesbian isn't actually used, but there is at no point any talk of her being attracted to men. So I'm assuming she's lesbian, not bisexual. I could be wrong. I want to just preface that. I could be wrong on that. Next up is this Poison Heart. Now, the main character of this, I do believe, is bisexual. However, she does have two mums, so there is double the Sapphic there. This is sort of like a secret garden type retelling, in the sense there is a secret garden. But I didn't actually pick up on this until Ash read it, but the first book has like horror-y type vibes, which now that she's said it, I can see it. And then this book isn't actually out until later this month. I think it's the 25th of June, but Sleep Like Death. This, I don't think the main character is bisexual, lesbian or pansexual or anything. However, she also has two mums. So there is still a bit of Sapphic in there. Next up is one I need to get a physical copy of, and it is Kiss Her Once From Me by Alison Cochrane. I absolutely love this. Yes, it's Christmassy, but it is perfect. There is fake dating in the sense she's fake dating someone and it turns out she knows his sister. So this is, I think the main character is bisexual and I think the love interest is lesbian, but I'm again not 100% certain on that. They could both be bi or pan, but yes. And then another one with the exact same trope of fake dating the guy and falling for the girl, like the sister, is Make You Mine This Christmas by Lizzie Huxley Jones. I will say, out of the two, I did prefer Kiss Her Once For Me, but this was also a really, really fun read and I just loved it. Next up is These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. I've read this duology. I am aware that Isabel Sterling's more recent book, The Coldest Touch, is also Sapphic. So, but this is witches and we love Sapphic witches. Next is You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This is a YA contemporary romance and it's just so cute. It's about Liz, who is planning prom. She's planning to become prom queen because she wants the scholarship prize that comes with that. And there's a new girl in school who also wants to go for queen, and there's a new girl in school. She is bisexual. I cannot remember if the love interest is bisexual or lesbian, but Sapphic. A lot of these, it's been quite a while since I read, so I can't remember specifics on like bisexual, lesbian, but the Sapphic rep is there. Next up is one I actually completely forgot had Sapphic rep because it's so subtly done and beautifully done, and that's Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldry. I genuinely did forget that there was Sapphic rep in this until I was like looking through my books, and I was like, oh, hang on a sec, wait, that's Sapphic. But it's done so well, and I love it. And it's a cozy fantasy. Like, so if you want a cozy fantasy with a bit of Sapphic rep, this is the book for you. Next up is a book that I related to so much when I thought I was bisexual, and it is Imogen, obviously, by Becky Albertalli. Now that I've figured out I'm actually not bisexual, it doesn't change the fact that teenage me, related so much to this book, and it was like a love letter to teenage me. So that's never going to be taken away from me. But this is just so cute. And is there some biphobia and crappy friends? Yes, but unfortunately that is what happens with teenagers. So I highly recommend this, but it could make you cry. Next is The Love Curse of Melody McIntyre by Robin Talley. I had never heard of this book before, but I got it in a LitJoy and then kept on hold of it and didn't read it for the longest time. And then I read it, I think last year, and I absolutely loved this. I didn't realise just how much I would fall in love with this, because it's every like Sapphic theatre kid's dream. It was great. It was so well written and it was adorable. Next up, we have The Book Eaters by Sonia Dean. I really enjoyed this. This is a short standalone fantasy, which if you want something quick and easy to read, but that's also got a bit of Sapphic rep, this is the book for you. I really enjoyed the like world building around the like magic of the Book Eaters. I thought it was really well done. But also the Sapphic side isn't a main part, it's just there. Next up is Extasia by Claire Legrand. Sapphic witches. Sapphic witches. I feel like that's all I need to say is Sapphic witches, because that sums up this book. But this is also a horror. So if you want Sapphic witches in a horror setting, again, the Sapphic is not a huge part of it, but it is still there and present. Next, we have The Society for Soulless Girls by Laura Stephen. Laura Stephen writes Sapphic so well, and I'm really excited to read her more recent book, Every Exquisite Thing, which is also Sapphic. This is like a mystery, thrillery type book, but the atmospheric vibes were just so on point. And again, the Sapphic side is not a main part of it, but it is still present. Then we have The Iron Crown by Ella McRae. This has a Sapphic couple in it. The fact that they are Sapphic and a couple is not a big part of it. They are just a couple that the main character meets, and there is a journey and they are there. But I really love the two characters. So, and also dragons and Saphics again. Next up is one book in a 6-book series, and it's actually the last book, and it's Queen Takes Rose by Katie Robert. So all of the books in the Wicked Villains series to an extent have some sort of Sapphic rep. However, the actual main couple is a Sapphic couple. And it's also a Sleeping Beauty retelling. I love this so much. Next, we have Gwen and Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher. I absolutely loved this book. This is like an Arthurian retelling, but it's got Sapphic and gays. What more could you want? Next, we have Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn. This trilogy is set in like French Revolution times, and there is a Sapphic couple in this, and I love them. Next, we have The Once and Future Witches by Alex E. Harrow. This is to date the only Alex E. Harrow book I have read. It's one I didn't think I would love, but I ended up it being like one of my favourite books of the year, and I absolutely adore this book. It is like Salem witches. There's motherhood. There is Sapphic. There is fighting the patriarchy. And I'm here for it. Next is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. There is Sapphic couples in this. Again, not a main part, but it's witches and it's modern day. And I love that. And then the final one is, I mean, it's the first book in a series, but also like part of a whole world. It's the Dark Artifices series by Cassandra Clare. And to be honest, the Sapphic-ness is not a main part in this, but Helen and Aline hold my heart, and they are one of my favourite Sapphic couples. I love them with my entire heart, and I want all the happiness for them. They are also in the Ghost of the Shadow Market set of short stories, which follows on from this. So yeah. Okay, so they're all the books that there's probably more. I'm going to be honest, there is probably more. But they're all the ones that I'm recommending to you today. I'm actually quite proud. I currently have tonsillitis, and I'm quite proud I only had one coughing fit in that entire video. Go me. But I hope you got some recs from this. Let me know in the comments below if there are any books with any sort of Sapphic rep in that you would recommend, because I want to add more to my list. To be fair, you might say one that I already have, but you don't know that. So recommend me some books with Sapphic rep, and preferably with no cheating and no heart issues of any kind. That would be great. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.